Welcome back, this is Luca, and today I want to talk to you about the most balanced Speedlight unit you can possibly buy for less than $200. That unit is the Godox V1 Mid that you see in my hands over here, and if you follow this channel, you know that I've already given that title to another Godox unit, and that unit was the Godox V480, which you're going to find the review somewhere over here. In my opinion, this V1 Mid that you see in my hands takes everything that was great about the V480 and takes it up a notch, to the point where, in my opinion, this is the closest to perfection that you can possibly buy at $179. But before diving any further into the review, let me get you my usual disclaimer. Godox sent me this unit to test and review, but I wasn't paid, and they have no saying into the content that I'm putting out with this unit. With that out of the way, let's just talk about the flash. The Godox V1 Mid is a 55 watt-second unit that sports the round head, which makes it compatible with all the professional accessories from Godox, and despite that, it is fairly compact and lightweight. My sample unit is for Fujifilm, but like all the other Godox units you can find, it's available for all the major manufacturers that you can find. And speaking of size and weight, I've used it on my Fuji X-E5, which is a fairly compact and lightweight camera, and even a flash like this that has a round head, it doesn't look weird on a small camera like the X-E5, and most importantly, it doesn't mess with the camera body balance if you put it on top of it. When it comes to the head, you can rotate the head in every possible way, like all the important flashes from Godox, and the hand itself hosts the modeling light. From a control standpoint, you have the new touch interface that was implemented by Godox in the last, couple of years or so, and it's something that I like a lot because it is very easy to understand, very easy to operate, and it works really well even in bright light. The screens that they put in these flashes work really well. And as usually, you can use this flash as an on-camera unit, as an off-camera unit, or if you need it, also as a trigger. The battery is removable and it's rated for 650 shots at its maximum power, and I believe it is actually better than that, but more on that later. When it comes to Godox flashes, sitting at 55 watts second, this is a less powerful unit than the V100, which is their top of the line at 100 watts, but it's also a less powerful unit than the V1, which this takes the name from, which sits at 76 watts second. But besides those two units, this is a very powerful unit that basically sits at the same level that the V480 has. And speaking of the V480, later in this video we will compare them side by side, but these are basically the same unit with slight difference. But again, more on that later. I just want to focus now on how this unit works. As I mentioned, this unit is for Fujifilm, and when it comes to Fujifilm, I tend to shoot mostly personal stuff. I tend to shoot candid, I tend to shoot birthday parties, I tend to shoot stuff that I usually don't show over here just because I don't put much thinking into it and I don't put much effort into it anyways. What I can tell you, however, is that this unit on camera on my X-E5 worked really well. It is very good in TTL, it works really well for events like birthday parties and stuff like that. It will be plenty powerful for those occasions, and it will be sometimes even too powerful, but it will never disappoint you in that type of scenario. Where I was really curious, however, was to use this flash as a remote unit in an outdoor scenario when I'm not saying you're trying to overpower the sun, but you're trying to fight with the sun to determine what type of light your subject gets. And in this case, I wanted to shoot this off camera with my brand new Sony A7RVI review that you will find over here. And even if this is for Fuji, like every other Godox unit, once you have the trigger for your camera system, you can use any flash with any system as long as you set your channels properly. And now, before showing you the results, let me tell you this. In my opinion, this was one of the best shootings that I've ever had. And I wanted to show you that, and I wanted to show you how good of a shooting this was by showing you the unedited HEIF file first and then the edited version for the vast majority of them. I'm not going to do that for all the shots because it's going to be boring, but I'm going to do that to show you that I didn't mask my subject to get it more light. I didn't mask the background to make it darker. It was already incredibly good on camera, and the model was pretty pleased about that, but we're going to talk about that later. 3, 2, 1, go. We broke ice in downtown Catania, my city, in the main subway station. And we set ourselves in the staircase of this subway station because I loved the perspective. And actually, there was no one around, so it was super simple to shoot because no one was coming to bother us and no one was coming to ruin the shot because they were getting in the shot. And after a couple of warm-up shots to properly set the camera, the flash power, the composition, we started having a lot of fun with poses and compositions. The V1 Mid was sitting behind a 65cm octabox for the entire duration of the shooting, and this means that it lost some of the power because of that type of setup. I ended up shooting basically the entire shooting session between half power and full power because I wanted to kill some of the background light and give the proper illumination to the subject. I just wanted the model to pop up, and the flash worked pretty well. Once that part of the shooting was done, we moved outside of the underground station as the structure seemed to be perfect for the mood of our shooting, and that was confirmed big time while we were taking our shot. The light was basically perfect, and the combination of camera, lens, and speedlight was working in a phenomenal way throughout the shooting. We had a lot of fun, and the V1 Mid kept going pretty seamlessly, with the only exception being few missed shots here and there because I was shooting too fast and I wasn't giving the unit the time to recharge. But more on that later. As I was shooting, I was really impressed by what I was getting, and even the model felt super confident because she was seeing a basically almost finished product already on the back screen of the camera. This is one of the keys to successful shooting because it boosts your confidence as a photographer. It boosts the model's confidence into what you're telling them to do because they're seeing already the vision, they're seeing what it is that they're getting, and this helps building trust and building that vibe that gets you the best result out of a shooting. We then moved to another location where I honestly didn't feel much confident in shooting any B-roll to record what we were doing. The area was crowded and I had to look at too much stuff, make sure that no one was going to rob me, and I had the backpack, the camera, the flash unit, so I didn't feel like recording there. But even without recording, you can see that the results are pretty impressive. And of course, the light was going down, so this means that you need a little bit less power from your unit to overpower the ambient light. I was still shooting between half power and a fourth of the power, but it was a little bit faster just because the light was going down and I didn't need to push the unit to its maximum power. Now, besides the results that you've already seen, I was really impressed with the battery life of this unit because I basically had the unit on for more than 3 hours and we shot basically between full power and half power more than 400 shots. I only had a few shots towards the end of the shooting where I was below half power, and the battery life remaining on the flash unit didn't go down a bit. The unit has a 3-bar layout that show you how much battery do you have. They were still there even after 3 hours, even after more than 400 shots, almost everyone at full power. This gets you the confidence that you will not run out of battery with any of these units unless you're pushing them beyond what I think it's imaginable for a unit like this. Now, the only downside that I had with using this flash in that scenario was the recharge time. Now, this is a 55 watts unit. To shoot outside like that, you need to put it at maximum power. And what happens when you shoot it at maximum power, as you can see right now, it is at full power. When you shoot, it takes a little bit to recharge. You're gonna see me shooting now, and then you're gonna hear a beep that will inform you that the flash is ready to shoot again. See? It takes some time. If you want it to be basically no delay, you need to go to a quarter of the power. Let me show you. We're at a quarter of the power now. See? It's basically immediate. Now, what happens is that, especially when you're shooting with professional models, they go through poses pretty quickly. They don't wait for you to tell them what to do. Once they identify the mood, once they identify what you want from that type of scenario, they move fast through poses. And Chiara, in this case, is a very good model, and she was going pretty fast. I had to tell her to slow down a bit because I needed to get the flash some breathing room to recharge. Now, I don't want you to think that this is an issue, because the thing is, a flash like this small, this compact, this lightweight, this inexpensive, shouldn't even be usable in a situation like that. So what you're doing is you're basically squeezing a lot of results out of a flash that in theory has no business shooting on the outside in a situation like that. So yes, you have to wait, but what it's important to understand is this is not an issue for the flash. It's that the flash is that good that you push it beyond what their limit are supposed to be. And basically, in a situation like that, you should be rocking at least a V100 and if possible even an AD300 Pro Mark II. The fact that a unit like the V1 Mid or the V480 can get you something like that is just an additional benefit. So don't focus on that too much. And since I mentioned the V480, the V1 Mid and the V480 are basically non-identical twins. They share the vast majority of the circuitry, they share the power output, they share the same battery, they share the same screen on the back, they share a lot of stuff. The only differences are that the V1 Mid has the round head while the V480 has this rectangular head, and with that it comes the fact that the V1 Mid is compatible with the Godox accessories for the round head while the V480 isn't. At the same time, having a round head, the V1 Mid has the modeling light in the head itself while the V480 has the modeling light on the body. Now, for some people, having the modeling light on the body is better because even if you're bouncing the flash, your modeling light is still putting power in front of the camera, and it may help with the autofocusing system. In my opinion, for the way I use it, I much prefer having the modeling light on the head, just because if I'm shooting with a flash like this, if I'm using it as a studio flash, I just want the modeling light to be the modeling light. And so tell me exactly what type of light I'm getting out of that situation more than being autofocus assist mode. Now, between the two, it's a matter of personal choice. However, as I mentioned before, in my opinion, the round head is a really important addition for me. I much prefer the round head to the rectangular head ever since I purchased my first V1, not the V1 Mid, but the V1, the more powerful unit. I never went back to rectangular heads because those round heads, I like the light that I get out of those. But again, that is a personal preference, and I'm not telling you that it's undisputedly the best choice. And so in conclusion, the V1 Mid is, in my opinion, the most balanced unit that money can buy, because at $179 and even less when it's under specific deals, you can't get any better than this. You get a powerful unit, you get a small and portable unit that is compatible with the professional accessories that Godox makes, and it's capable of shooting beyond what it's supposed to shoot, as I've shown you throughout the duration of this video. On top of that, it's a good starting point to learn off-camera flash because it's powerful enough to let you play with that, and it is also a very good unit if you then decide to upgrade to something more powerful because you do a lot of shooting outside. This is going to become a perfect unit to be like the background illumination unit, your secondary unit, your backup unit. At $179, it's just a no-brainer in my opinion. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you have the V1 Mid? Are you looking at purchasing one? Are you more interested in the V480? Is there anything that I missed that you want to know? Let me know in the comments below. But the one thing that I want to know more than anything else is, since I have tried basically all the modern units that Godox has pushed out, do you want me to put together a purchasing guide between all those units to help you choose your next Speedlight unit? Let me know in the comments below. And now it's time to go. Ciao, grazie, and I'll see you in the next one.